Well, welcome back to the Fat Man GM's revisitation of the Middle-earth role-playing game system. Although, in defense, this particular adventure module does not belong to that game system. This came out, must have been at the tail end, and I think I purchased it because I mistook what it was. Copyright timeline here. I got stuff here, but it's not. It's for the books, not for this game module. Year did this thing come out? It's always fun how they put things and then it doesn't seem to get placed where it should be. That is odd. I know where it ought to be, and I know where it's not. Anyway, I'm going to say that was the early 90s because this is when MERP was winding down and Iron Crown was having a lot of problems. They come out with Lord of the Rings: The Adventure. It was a different game system entirely. And this particular one was the second installment, my understanding, over the Misty Mountains Cold, which was to be so you could more or less follow in the footsteps of the parties from the novels to some degree. So you can go to Bree, wander around in the cold fells and stuff of the western Misty Mountains, end up in the mountains, and then explore an abandoned dwarvish stronghold of some sort. It's not Moria, so it's not as nasty and dark, but it's still a ruin. It's got haunted, what have you, some bad stuff in it, chances for some loot and adventure. It's set up completely different. The system is a different type from what the standard Middle-earth RPG is set up. So it can be converted over. I don't think I ever ran it. I don't think I ever did much more than read it the one time I got it. Truth is, I haven't even read through it this time. It's obviously not part of the MERP system. Although, like I said, it does use the same kind of stats. It does use the same base Rolemaster rulebook stuff, so you could probably easily convert it over. I don't have the original Lord of the Rings Adventure core book or initial book, because I don't think it was a core book. I'm not versed enough in it to be sure one way or another. So, it says here, like Frodo and the rest of the Fellowship, you too can now venture in the Dwarven ruins as ancient as abandoned Moria. Gird up your sword and ready your shield. The darkness fills the mountains of hold is fraught with peril. Over the Misty Mountains Cold is the second sequel to the Lord of the Rings adventure game. High among the peaks of mountain, blah, blah, blah. All Lord of the Rings adventure game sequels use the same fun and user-friendly storytelling format. For the next adventure, when you're ready for more fun before the goblins start, or where over the Misty Mountain Cold ends, or the goblins. So, this is a good abstract lesson. Sometimes we get caught up in purchasing our favorite game system, that when it starts to peter out, when it starts to lose traction, and the game company either switches to something, the next best thing, or they other people start coming up with other stuff that are similar to what we're using. We have a tendency to want to keep buying those things without truly understanding what it is we're getting. So, in my case, I made the faux pas of assuming that this was part of Middle-earth when I bought it. I didn't bother to really give it a lot of eyeball on it. I just added it to my stack of stuff at the time, purchased it, later found out it was an utterly different type of game set in the same setting. So, a good thing to take away from this is I learned that it is a different kind of game. It is much more story-based, much more storytelling-based than mechanics. There's far fewer gaming mechanics involved from what I could tell and from what I've heard from the original stuff. I'm sure there are others out there who would be able to tell you much more about it, and I wish I could do justice to it, but it is part of my Middle-earth collection, so I wanted to include it. There's still plenty of useful items here that can be gleaned from it, something to be considered. So, there you have it. Not quite a Middle-earth role-playing game adventure.